The magical and medicinal properties of nettle. Nettle is one of those plants with a very mixed reputation. On the one hand, it's famed for its nutritional, magical and medicinal properties, but on the other hand, it's famed as a vicious and pleasant plant that will harm those who venture too near to it. Nettle is an herbaceous perennial that was originally native to Europe, temperate Asia and parts of North and West Africa. Today it can also be found in New Zealand and throughout America, except for the state of Hawaii. It grows like mad, even in wastelands, and so long has been associated with abundance and prosperity. The word nettle is thought to derive in a very roundabout way from the Proto-Germanic natto, which is the same word that net originates from. This is because for thousands of years nettle was used to make clothing and nets. Nettle stems contain a rough fibre that can be retted, just like linen. The end result is coarser, but it's still perfectly wearable. The earliest examples of nettle textiles come from Bronze Age Denmark. There's an urban legend that during World War I there was a shortage of cotton. German military uniforms were instead made of nettle. In modern Germany, as elsewhere, there are now companies producing textiles created with nettle. According to Norse legend, the nettle is associated with both Thor, the god of thunder and agriculture, and Loki, the infamous trickster god. Loki was said to have had a net made from nettles and been trapped in a similar net. Here he is with it in an 18th century manuscript. There's an idea that his name Loki comes from an old word meaning something like loop or tangle, as in how nets are looped and tangled up. Loki himself, as a mischief maker, spins his own web or net trying to trap others with his words and his actions, and was also credited as the creator of that first fishing net. Today in Scandinavia, the web that a spider spins to trap its prey is called loka or loki. Due to its links with nets, nettles have been used to magically entrap or snare people or energies and can be used in all forms of binding magic. The notion of entrapment certainly fits the nettle very well. They grow densely in thickets, which makes a very effective barrier that protects whatever is inside. Many small bugs love to hide amongst nettles, as it's often one of the few places where they can actually be safe from their natural predators, which are put off by the sting of the nettle. Here we get to what the nettle is most famous for today, its powerful sting, hence why we literally call it the stinging nettle. Even in Latin, the name pays homage to it, for urtica means burn. The sting is the plant's form of defence, and it's pretty effective, and so we can work with the nettle very effectively in any kind of defence magic, such as for defending and protecting our homes and ourselves from negative energies or potential harm. So, how does it sting? Well, the nettle have these amazing hollow, spiky hairs on its leaves and stems, which scratch anything that gets too close. They may have inspired the modern hypodermic needle. Inside these hollow needles is a liquid that contains several chemicals, including formic acid and histamine, which are nasty irritants that cause an inflammatory burning effect in our skin. Folklore tells us that the remedy for the sting of the nettle is the dock leaf, and very conveniently, because Mother Nature is wise and generous, dock can usually be found growing close to nettles because they love similar habitats. The sap of the dock leaf is said to contain a natural antihistamine and so counters the chemicals of the nettle's sting. Although the sting is generally unpleasant and avoided where possible, it can also be healing. From ancient times, people have flogged themselves with stinging nettles to ease the pain caused by rheumatism and arthritis, as the antihistamine that the body is forced to produce as a result can help with swelling and inflammation. This so-called cure has been recorded in ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and in more recent folklore from throughout Europe. For those less brave, nettle tea has long been drunk to help with these same conditions. Romans who had sore leg muscles due to their long marches would rub nettles against their bare legs to increase their circulation and ease the pain. This technique was also employed by many indigenous American peoples during their long hunts. Even today, nettles are famed for their ability to promote good circulation and ease all kinds of aches and pains. Nettles are famous for their healing and medicinal properties when ingested. Cooking or soaking nettles destroys those spiky hairs and the irritating chemicals, but leaves many of the other beneficial chemicals intact. The Greek physician Hippocrates recommended the nettle for over 60 ailments, and throughout the ages they've been used to treat pretty much everything from animal bites, insect bites, sinus problems, skin problems, throat infections, to lower fevers, to slow bleeding and promote the healing of wounds, ease pain, cure poisoning, help with constipation, and to treat or prevent scurvy, an illness caused by lack of vitamin C. This is because the nettle is a nutritional powerhouse. It's chock full of antioxidants and polyphenols, which may prevent cancers, proteins, vitamin A and C, iron, calcium, potassium and magnesium. It's long been used as a green vegetable in various dishes, sauces and drinks, such as soups, pesto, polenta, in pastries, cheese and even an alcoholic beer. It tastes very much like spinach, but if you want to eat it, collect it before it flowers, otherwise it ends up really tough, gritty and horrible. The nettle is one of the herbs of the Anglo-Saxon 9 herbs charm. which was first recorded in the 10th century current era. The Saxons used it as protection against elf-shot, which referred to mysterious aches and pains that had a sudden onset, things today we'd call cramp, muscle ache and rheumatic pains. It was believed that these were caused by poisonous arrows shot by fairy folk, so nettle has gained a reputation for being able to protect people from malevolent fairies. It does not, however, deter the more pleasant fairies who, like moths and butterflies, flock to this plant. Modern witches call upon and work with the nettle for protection and defence, healing and binding, abundance, courage and strength, and to enable them to work with the kinder kinds of fairy. It's especially popular with witches who love their cooking, herbal remedies, or who work with textiles. Nettle is ruled over by the planet Mars for its stinging weaponry and with fire because of the burn of its sting. It's also an ally plant for those born under the signs of Scorpio and Aries, which is another name for Mars. Have you tried nettles in your culinary crafts? Are you a fan or do you avoid it? Is nettle a plant that speaks to you? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.